the worries and gloom. Rubbish is easily found, run out of room. No plants grow in this town, you're out of luck. And the reason that you have to care, the rubbish and crap. Floating in water everywhere, don't even seem to know what you're doing to this place. See, life needs our help. In return for a safer place, the beautiful world. God formed to feel like the beautiful world. Don't let it fade away. Trash. Keep our water clean, save our lakes, and our beautiful mountain streams. We love this earth. Maybe it's time for it to burn. Solutions all over. It's all because of you. It's a beautiful world. Don't let it fade away. It's a beautiful world. Ooh, baby. The earth is such a special place. Please, we know it's not a hopeless case. See the world in green and blue. See the beauty right in front of you. See the treetops broken by clouds. See the tulip leaves swimming around. See the starry skies at night. See the cornfields that turn lie down. See the leaves all over the ground. During spring, see the flowers come out. It's a beautiful world. Don't throw it all away. It's a beautiful world. Baby, the earth is such a special place. Please, because it's not a hopeless case. Save the water, turn the lights off now. That recycling will affect the world somehow. What you don't have, you don't need it now. Don't need it now. It's a beautiful world.
So what do you think of kids these days?
Well, in past generations, children have cycled or walked places, but growing fears have meant that parents are restricting children's movements to such an extent that these children will not have environmental knowledge and the skills to be able to negotiate freely in our environment. Kids these days are living in the bubble wrap generation, as they are always kept inside, playing on computers or iPads and even watching television. They are not outside, getting fresh air and experiencing what our beautiful environment has to offer. Because children are being kept inside all day long, they are not aware of what is happening to our environment.
So what do you think of all the litter around here these days?
Oh, it's disgraceful. Littering is just seen as so unhealthy and looks terrible. It also has a huge impact on the marine life, which is terrible.
Yeah, well, if teachers can introduce sustainability at an early age, it will be beneficial because they will have an understanding about why it's so important.
Exactly, and it wouldn't be that difficult to teach as there's lots of local beaches around the local schools.
We are a band and have created a song to send a message out to all the children and adults about the importance of sustainability. We feel that the song is fun and catchy and will help students understand and hopefully want to make a difference and look after our beautiful world.
Exactly. Why do you think that recycling is important?
Well, I think that recycling is an extremely important aspect of our lives that needs to be practiced by all if we want our world to stay beautiful and not create excess rubbish in all the landfills. I mean, if everyone can learn to recycle, then there will be much less waste produced, and therefore there will be less emissions created from products of these wastes, as it takes far less emissions to recycle a can than it does to create a whole new can. I think that kids these days should really be encouraged to recycle and care for our environment, because they're going to be the future generation and they'll be in charge of looking after the earth. I think that they are not taught enough about sustainability and global warming and emissions and all that stuff, when they really need to know about how everyone's actions are affecting the environment. So what do you think about the environment?
I think that saving the environment is really important. Like, we need to look after the environment because our lives depend on it, and a bad environment is going to impact negatively on our health as individuals and as a race. That's that. People say the world is shrinking, and I guess it's true. We've got to think about what we're doing to the environment. I mean, there's only X amount of resources on our planet, and our economy is ever expanding. So you do the math. And what about the US? I mean, they only make up about 5% of the human population, but create about half of the world's non-organic waste and produces about 30% of its carbon dioxide. But that doesn't really seem fair to me. I mean, that's just excess. The distribution of emissions to the population doesn't add up. It's not fair on the rest of the world who have to live on this beautiful marble with the big gassy US.
It would be great just to point the finger at the US, but there's no smoke without fire, right? Don't we just all have too much crap that we don't need? Like 3 phones, 2 cars, a tablet, and a laptop per person. Who needs a new phone every year, for Christ's sake? You get it? We, the consumers, are the fuel for the destruction of the natural world. If we keep buying these things, they're going to keep being made, and we'll just keep throwing old things that don't biodegrade. Hey, that rhymes. That's going to go into a song.
We are constantly bombarded with the new, get it now, must have, and advertising is particularly good at making us realise we need things we actually don't. Do you know where your material possessions come from? Does it come with a before and after of the land it was wrenched from? Does it have an age, wage and photo of the child who made it? Do you get a free jar of carbon dioxide that was made alongside the item? I bet you don't think about that. Maybe you should. Our planet at this trajectory isn't sustainable, and I'm not the only one thinking it.
I think it's really important the work that gets done in our schools as well. Like, the children are our future, and if we're not teaching them how to care for the planet, then who will once we're gone? So the schools work towards running sustainability. In America, I think, if a school does so many sustainable projects, they become a green school or Earth school or something like that. I went to school the other day down in Australia while I was down there because I kind of wanted to see how they operate. And there was a local university that was there and was working with the kids, making sustainable projects or something along those lines. Some of these kids were stoked because they got to be outside, and it doesn't happen all the time anymore. Well, it seems to be an emerging trend that kids stay indoors.
There are also things going on behind the scenes, like when the Australian government had the Education for Sustainability Grants program and gave universities and local organisations money to be spent on, for lack of a better word, the indoctrination of sustainability. I think it was like a total of $3 million given over the course of the program. They figured if they educate the ones whom educate others, it's a more effective way of spreading the message,
Personally, I think that the money would have been better spent or placed in actual schools and more of it. I mean, striving for sustainability is important, but most schools doesn't have the $12,500 lying around for a domestic solar system unit, solar power unit, let alone one for the whole school. I mean, the $3 million only buys about 240 domestic solar panel systems, and there's about 2,441 schools in Australia in, I think, 2013. So how far can that $3 million really go? Well, that's just my thoughts. I mean, I guess it did work in its own way in the long run. You see, rather than just giving out money for it to be spent once or even misused, the money went to the education of the educators. So rather than getting solar panels or something material, they get new teachers passionate about and equipped to tackle sustainability. Funnily enough, now that I say it, the Education for Sustainability Grants program was actually sustainable itself. And ironically, I probably would have gone about it wrong and screwed it up. I guess that's why I'm just a singer.
The Australian government is tackling sustainability in a coordinated fashion by utilising documents such as Educating for a Sustainable Future, a national environmental education statement for Australian schools. It's good because it means that everyone is on the same page and they all know what they're doing and how they can do it.
In New South Wales, they have an environmental education policy for schools, which states that schools need to develop school-wide environment management plans and to regularly evaluate their effectiveness. The policy also states that it should be focused on 3 aspects of school, which are curriculum, resources and grounds management. This is good. Every school always needs to improve sustainability. Yep. They use scrap paper and things like that.
What I love about it is the broadness of the policy. Like, it doesn't just teach the kids about the importance of sustainability and all that, but it also makes the schools model and practice it. So, you know, you got to practice what you preach.
You do.
I mean, sing about saving the environment and loving one another and the planet and stuff, but like, if we ain't doing it ourselves, then the message is lost. It's just useless, man.
Yep.
Personally, I think that the money would have been better placed in actual schools and more of it. I mean, striving for
It would be great to just point the finger at the US, but there's no smoke without fire, right? Don't we have it all? Start again. I can't, hold on, you need to go back. Right, stay where you are. Maybe here, I guess. Go up.
We really should have brought like instruments.
domestic services.
Maybe we should be like in the
Where's I
background,
guess?
like trying to work out our stuff.
That's just my thoughts, I guess.
Okay, so
Yeah, alright. No, okay,
Yeah?
but it worked in one
Or
though.
ha
Yeah, so
yeah.
split it there so that we can
so
get
then,
a bigger.
so Matt, can you come over here? I need your help on the computer.
I'll go organise some tours. It's stuff to do.
There's nothing about sound, is there?
So,
Distinction.
University, wasn't
Yeah, and that's what we got there.
where'd all the
Come here, I need your help on the
it? I
computer.
gotta organise some tours and stuff.
Thanks.
You guys just spelled it the wrong way.
Oh shit, it seems so natural. That way. Really went on natural. That's so funny.
So what do you think of kids these days?
Well, in past generations, children cycled or walked places, but growing fears have meant that start again.
Nah, do it again.